Hi there. My name's Talia, and I was a conservative evangelical Christian for 30 years till I was finally able to come out to myself as trans and accept the true gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ, the gospel of grace and truth. Well, this channel still isn't really going anywhere. This is just going to be another sort of mini rant, unscripted video. I'm going to try not to go on too long, just to let people know that I'm still awake, still alive, and still trying to make this channel do something. Man, it's difficult to keep myself motivated to learn anything new. That's the problem. I have gotten to the point where I'm stuck in my ways. There's a limited number of things that I'm confident at, and my confidence was completely shattered uh, with that whole ordeal of coming out to myself. I had to completely reconstruct my identity. So it's been a couple years now, like 5 or 6 years, I suppose, since I started coming out, and I'm still kind of a wreck, unfortunately. But, it does make sense because I was repressed for 30 years, right? Uh, it's going to take maybe longer than six to undo the 30. So I'm trying to be patient with the process. It is slow and frustrating. I'm a perfectionist. I get easily just upset and impatient with myself, and I'll just sort of, well, I mean, I'm just too used to using the drugs to escape my unpleasant reality. I'll just get high a little bit, and that gives me some sort of sense of motivation or joy or hope for the future. It's just that it's kind of just fake, or it's hypothetical. It's all in my mind. So I finally get sort of excited about things, and that's important because, man, for a long time, I kind of just did not have any motivation to do anything at all, and that's what the weed was for, to be honest, was to help help me continue to feel some sort of like reason to live. Eh, Even though it wasn't really engaging with the real world, it's engaging with my own mind, and just thought worlds and thought experiments, ideas, symbols. And music, of course. Being high makes me love to listen to music, and that makes me wish that I could play musical instruments. And I listen to the different part. I'm starting to think what instrument I would play to, cover as many as I could. Anyway, and I still don't even have any skill with with playing very many musical instruments at all. I mean, I can play a recorder like a, elementary student. Well, a little better than an elementary school student. I do know how to do the breath work and the tonguing and such. A lot of little kids don't do that, but not much better than that. I had a recorder that I would carry with me basically when I joined the military. Ironically, I started playing the recorder because I my main instrument was the cello, and I obviously couldn't take that with me to basic training or anywhere else. So it was nice to be able to just get out that recorder and sort of mess around with it whenever I had free time. I would go into the smoking courtyard and do a little ditty or whatever. So I do have some history of playing musical instruments. It's just that I've never actually, practiced at it very long. I always, again, I get bored and frustrated, and I'm too perfectionistic, especially these days when you can listen to so much just amazing, gorgeous, highly talented musicians just producing so much these days. And like, why should I have to listen to my own ragged, approximations of something worth listening to when I can just, press a button and hear, much more amazing music on demand? That's sort of the problem with playing music at all these days, I suppose. I mean, live music is definitely fun in like, a bar or something like that. That's where I see it. You got to be good, of course, to do that. So, anyway, see, I am ranting a little bit. I guess I just feel like I'm trying to figure out what I even want to do with my life. Now that I'm not in this constant state of emergency and just trying to fend off, the wrath of God and make it to death without committing some mortal sin, basically. Even though I'm not a Catholic, I don't even believe in mortal sin. So kind of silly that I was so scared of it. But I really do want to figure out how to actually share more of a life worth living, I guess. Like no one's going to want to be my friend if I'm not even somebody that can hang out with myself very easily without getting high. Like I bore myself. Um, I just I feel like I still have too much baggage. I've got all kinds of just needs, and I really am not interested yet, I guess, still in making friends in the real world. I feel like that's just too demanding. Like, why would I want, I don't know. What's the purpose of making friends? Like hanging out? Why would I want to hang out with other people? Like, what do people do? I don't play, I don't know. I'm not into these competitive things. Like even like people are like, oh, board games are a great way to like socially interact with people that's not so stressed. But I don't know, they're still competitive basically. They're still either their strategy and based, which that makes me feel intimidate. That makes me feel like I'm a dum dum. If I can't figure out the game mechanic, I don't have a natural knack for game mechanics and such. So if we're going to be playing games, I prefer for it to be, you know, heavily influenced by chance. Have a dice there. Um, because the more I'm responsible for the outcome, the more stressful it gets, I guess. And it's silly because games are not supposed to be. It doesn't really matter who wins. We're just agreeing to uh, to care if that such and such rules are followed and somebody gets to such a it's completely just made up. And it is funny that people get all worked up about winning or losing. But I do think part of it is just feeling like I'm just not smart enough or bold enough or whatever. Like I just don't like these social things that people do. I just like, what's the purpose? Why do people hang out with their friends? Like, to me, it just seems awkward. Like, you can't do your own thing. Like, now I can't listen to my own music. I can't watch my own YouTube videos. I can't do my own, go on a run, eat what I want. I prefer doing everything alone, I guess, because then I'm in control of everything. I'm in control of my sensory inputs and what I'm doing with my body. And it's just, like if you're going to go out and like meet friends and hang out with them, and it's this bit, it's a bunch of effort. You have to go out of your way. And then you're in this, I don't know, it's not my cozy little nook, my little room that I'm so used to. Um, I don't know. I just don't know what people are really getting out of it. I mean, unless I had like a really close friend, if I had really close friends that I could actually do, the things that I enjoy doing on my own sort of with, I mean, I'd have to figure out how to be okay with just going along with what they want to do sometimes, though, right? I guess that's part of the problem. I'm so just not used to socializing that I just don't even know what the point is. Okay, okay. I'm ranting again. Well, anyway, I did just want to say that I'm still alive, and I feel like there is progress being made. I ran out of weed yesterday, and I actually don't feel a whole lot of cravings, which is, this is a good thing. I still feel kind of bored, though, and I still feel intimidated when I try to learn new things. I actually did do a little bit today, see? I'm proud of myself. I did a little teeny bit of research, tried to figure out QuickTime, why I can't record the screen and my face at the same time, or and the audio at the same time. Apparently, you need a different tool. So trying to figure that out. I downloaded another tool. Now that's making me intimidated because I'm going to have to learn that. There's all of these different steps, all these things that you have to learn in order to then unlock the next thing to even try to do with my time. Or see, I just don't have any skills worth anything. I spent all of my professional life just like fooling people, making people think that I was doing something. See, that's government work, right? I was basically just pushing papers, going kind of crazy in silent pain. And the silly thing is that people would just sign me off as being, a good worker. I'd get top marks on my evaluations every time. I would literally be begging my supervisor. I would tell them, please mark me down a little bit. I'm not getting the training to do my job. Like somehow I don't know how to do it, and I'm not getting the instruction. I don't know. The other thing with the military is that usually when they teach you something new, it's extremely involved. They give you a step by step, a whole, all the way. Every time you have to learn a new thing on the computer, you have to sign off. Your supervisor has to put in his initials that you know how to like use the mouse and like minimize screens and stuff. It's that thorough of like making sure everybody knows everything during their training process. And I guess I got used to that. I got used to just being told what I had to know and being given extremely thorough instruction. And well, that was the reason I really got depressed in the military, was that I ended up moving to a different shop that was actually NSA led, and they do not do that training in the same way. They kind of just throw you in the pit and expect you to figure it out, and I was not figuring it out. Okay, okay. Well, we had Pride Month. I actually did go to the Pride celebrations this time because they were at the end of the month. Usually it's not on my radar and I forget, and then it passes because I'm usually thinking about Easter and my birthday instead, and that's more at the beginning of the month. So that's another thing to help me remember that maybe things will change at some point. Maybe I'm not going to just be so antisocial indefinitely. Like I'm still working through trauma, or what, quote unquote white boy trauma. But like, man, like I used to get catfished and scammed so much, man. So even like if somebody just comes up and like is trying to be my friend, some stranger or whatever is trying to be my friend. Actually, the other day while I was protesting, somebody tried to come up and talk to me, but it was not really. It was not working. I'm in an extremely paranoid state when I'm protesting, especially because I'm all geared up, and I'm kind of expecting to be pissing people off. That's how I'm still sort of thinking about it, I guess. I'm still expecting to be in this hostile environment where everybody, is going to be shouting F slurs from the windows. That doesn't happen too often anymore. And when it does, I just laugh at them and say Jesus loves you. But it's still not something I'm doing to make friends, right? When I'm protesting out on the street corner, I'm not trying to interact with other people directly. I'm just in the more indirect way of, people going by in their cars. Uh, and that's what makes it a little bit impersonal. It's not necessarily face to face. There's a little bit of that distance. So I feel like people can sometimes be more, you know, more of a jerk than they would be if they were just on the street, you know, uh, not in their car as it goes by. And of course, taking videos of me and stuff like that. People are always doing. I'm always like catching them, and then they hide, pretend they weren't taking it. Silly. Why do you think I'm out there? Well, this is still not a very good way to actually get any attention on YouTube, I know. I have to actually either write some scripts and figure out what I'm actually going to say in advance, say something actually meaningful. um, and man, I still have to figure out what I'm even interested in, what I want to talk about or share or even learn, or what skills do I even want to learn. And I guess I got focused on this idea of being a webcam stripper because I was so just repressed. Like the sexuality was overwhelming my whole life. The repression of it. When you do that, it kind of takes over everything because you can't repress it. You can't just deny your actual biology or the way God made you. If you just try to deny it, you're quenching the spirit. And that just leads to pain and suffering until you can repent and be saved and accept the Lord's blessings, which are there for us to receive. I really believe it. I'm just, I don't have the faith, I guess. I'm still too scared of failing, I guess, or I'm still too embarrassed of being a loser. And you'd think I would be over it by now. That's what I was protesting on the streets for. This exposure therapy, helping me not care anymore about whether people think I'm silly or dumb or can't do what I'm trying to do. Because, I'm trying to sing on the street corner as well. No backup. I'm probably not hitting the notes very well because, I'm listening on my headphones. Fortunately, they're open ears, so I can at least hear myself, but not necessarily very well. If I have the volume too up, I'm not really listening to myself. I'm listening to the music. And I guess it has gotten to the point where the protesting is getting a little stale. I realize I'm kind of running out of my moves. I have to learn some actual dancing or something at some point because I've been doing all of these stretches. Ooh, and I think it really does help with my posture. That's the most important thing is trying to get this posture issue corrected because man, I got some bad back curve going on there. It's from being an alcoholic for 10 years. I would literally just sit in my bed like that. Even more than that, I guess. Just slouched, propped up with my pillow, with my laptop on my knees. Ridiculous. Very depressing. And so that's why I am trying to get myself excited about moving around more, exercise, yoga. I want to actually do some working out so I gain some muscle. I need to be able to actually do a pull up and like 20 push-ups in a row again. I don't think I could do that right now. And I guess part of the thing is like who cares about physical embodiment? Well, the problem is that we are embodied, right? This is how we exist in the world. And so since I'm stuck in this body, I might as well try to make the best of it and try to actually feel good in it as much as possible. I guess that's what I'm trying to train myself to learn how to do. And that's really the purpose of the whole webcam stripping idea. I'm not trying to be some like seductress, just making money by ripping people off or whatever. I'm trying to actually learn how to even care about wanting to interact with other people, at least for money. If they give me money, maybe I'll have some sort of reason to focus on somebody else other than myself, and actually learn some other. Heck, I still need to learn better ways to masturbate. I don't even know how to do that very well. At least I've finally gotten over the male habit that I had that was literally hurting me. Like I was like uh, sort of choking the chicken way too hard, if you will. The estrogen makes things quite a bit softer. So that was another hump to get over, and I feel like it's really good now. Like I'm not at risk of accidentally hurting myself anymore. I'm pretty locked in to actually remembering to be gentle with myself. And the next step is to finally get vibrator and try to actually figure out how to get the female orgasm to work for me because I do think it's more enjoyable than the male orgasm. You can definitely just extend it longer, but I don't have the tools to do that. I get cramped, right? So as soon as my hand gets cramped, I have to stop stimming and then can't go on anymore. So that's what the vibrator would be for. I'm definitely holding off on buying all kinds of things because again, like part of the thing is I want to know that I'm making money before I'm spending money. So it's all these different layers of things that I want to figure out how to do, and then I'm just too much of a pothead these days. I would rather just get high and then get all excited about imagining how cool I would be if I could actually develop some of these skills or interests or relationships or anything like that. But, I'm still dreaming about it, so that means I guess it is something that I want somewhere in there. I don't think it's all just a reaction to repression and being homophobic for so long that now I'm obsessed with sex. To some degree, that might be the case, and that's part of why I start feeling upset when I'm not high, because I feel like I'm losing my motivation and just going back to being a bored loser sitting around, uh, just watching YouTube videos all day. Okay, okay. Another pretty silly video here. Well, I'll try to actually do some singing. I'll try not to be smoking all day. And that really will, I think, help with the transition to actually spending my time doing things more productive that are actually in furtherance of my goals and dreams and hopes or whatever. Even though I'm so old already, to actually be starting this stuff now, I feel like everything's just gonna wind. I gotta make the best of things while I can, right? I already wasted 30 years of my youth. Gotta try to get something out of what remains. All right. Well, I'll try to think of some better video to make in the future. But for now, I'm still just doing these rants, and it still is difficult for me because I'm such a perfectionist to actually post these because they have so many issues and such. I definitely need to figure out how to edit someday in a way that's not going to make me completely paralyzed with perfectionism. Okay, okay. All right, have a good one. If anybody made it this far, I doubt it. Uh, See you later. God bless. Bye.